I think last year was a nice step in the right direction for us, but that's what it was. For us to go where we want to go, we still got a lot of steps to take. This is going to be a slow, steady, scratch, crawl, fight for every inch. I think, to be honest with you, for a number of years, we weren't really part of the conversation that we'd like to be a part of year in and year out. And we still got a lot of work to do, in a lot of different areas. But we've made great progress when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to developing our players, when it comes to facilities. We've made a lot of progress in a short period of time, but I also know the programs that we want to be able to compete with year in and year out, we've still got a long ways to go. What's nice, though, is we're at a point right now where everybody's really excited. Everybody is willing and able to be pulling the rope in the same direction. So that's Letterman, that's our current players, that's the coaches, that's alumni, that's the board, that's the president, that's the AD. I think everybody realizes we have an opportunity right now. We need to capitalize on it, and we got to keep pushing. Fortunately, that's my personality. But the thing we can't do, and I'm not going to allow people to do, is take a deep breath like we're back. We're not. We still got a lot of work to do.
James, how different was it? I know challenges are different, but taking Vanderbilt to a 9-win season, taking Penn State to the Rose Bowl, what were the differences and the challenges with each program getting them to certain heights?
Yeah, I think you guys probably, you understand that. I don't know if the average football fan really kind of understands what we did at Vanderbilt. I'm very proud of what we've done at Penn State so far. We still got a lot of work to do. I'm very proud of what we did at Vanderbilt, and I think real football people understand that. I know when we would go recruit the South, the way the high school coaches are with us and things like that is really good. I mean, one winning season in 30 years before we showed up, and had gone 2-10 2 years in a row, and we're able to go to 3 bowl games 3 years in a row. They've only been to 4 bowl games in 122 years. It was significant. Win 9 games 2 years in a row. The stat that I'm probably most proud of is in our last 20 games at Vanderbilt. I think this stat is correct. In our last 20 games at Vanderbilt, the only team that had a better record than us was Alabama. That's a pretty impressive stat in that conference. So there was a lot of lessons. There's a lot of things that we learned going through that I think helped us coming to Penn State, being at 65 scholarships that first year, 75 scholarships the last year. When we were at Vanderbilt, the average GPA there is a 4.0. I want to say it's like $65,000 a year to go to school there, and the average ACT was 32. We didn't have any walk-ons. So, being at Penn State, being at 65 scholarships, and being at Vanderbilt and having a hard time of practicing because we just didn't have enough guys. I mean, I went to every single fraternity and begged guys to come try out. We had 7 guys on our team at Vanderbilt that never played high school football before, that went to 3 bowl games. So I think there was some lessons that we took from Vanderbilt and that early on at Penn State that we were able to lean on. But from that point on, I think we all realized that they're different. They're different. And for us to take the next step, it's going to be completely different than anything we ever dealt with at Vanderbilt.
Day to day, obviously more fans, more history at Penn State than there was at Vanderbilt. Day to day, though, how does that change what you do? We see it from the outside and think Penn State, Vanderbilt, one's bigger and better than the other, but day to day, how does that add up for you?
Yeah, just everything. There's just more. There's more hats to wear. There's more responsibility. There's more media to talk to. There's more groups that have interest in what we're doing. 107,000 seat stadium, those types of things. It's just different. Both places are special. I had a great experience there, and I'll forever be appreciative and indebted to the opportunity that I had there that David Williams and John Ingram gave me. But now moving forward, that's a foundation in my past as a head coach. But again, this is a different entity, and it's magnified is, I guess, the best way to describe it.
James, on one hand with the Rose Bowl, you guys did lose the game, but it was one of the most thrilling Rose Bowls of all time. So after the game, what was the message you gave your team knowing both of those things happened? Despite the result, I guess.
Well, I guess the first thing I'd say is like I traveled all over the country speaking to different groups and doing different things, and everybody I see, they'd come up to me and say, "Coach, that was the best Rose Bowl game I've ever seen." I'm like, it wasn't that good. You know, it could have been a little bit better, but it was. It was a heck of a game, and I think I probably got 1,000 emails and letters from people in not just how we played and not how competitive the game was, but little things like when the USC player got hurt and how our players responded. I mean, it's amazing how many USC fans and people wrote us letters about how our guys conducted themselves, how our guys were at the hotel and dealt with the Rose Bowl people, all those things. So, you know, I think being on that stage and playing that type of game, I do think there's probably some value in it. I also make the argument of losing that game at the end of the season has really motivated our players, that they want this season to end differently, left a little bit of bad taste in their mouth, as you can imagine. But for me, walking into that locker room, you know, I wanted to win the game, trust me. But I walked into that locker room so proud of our players and our coaches and our doctors and our trainers and everything, because it was a special season. And, you know, there was nobody that should have been hanging their heads. There's disappointment, I get it, but at that point, it's not about that game. It's about the culmination of the entire season and what we were able to accomplish together.
You mentioned that, you know, you beat Ohio State last year. You won the Big Ten last year, but you didn't get to go to the playoffs, and it seems like going into this year, Ohio State is being widely considered as the favorite in the conference again. Do you guys use that as motivation at all, or do you feel slighted at all by that?
No, I mean, let's be honest. Ohio State has earned everything that they've been able to get, and you know, we're focused on Penn State. Last year was last year. You know, we're on to this year now and moving forward and doing everything we possibly can to put ourselves in a position to be a part of these conversations at the end of the year, at the end of the regular season, and then hopefully at the end of the year we'll see what happens. So that's where my focus is. I'm aware of what's going on at Michigan. I'm aware of what's going on at Ohio State. I'm aware of what's going on at Alabama. I'm aware of what's going on at USC and so on and so forth. I study all these places, best practice, what they're doing, what we're doing. I think you have to have an awareness, but after that, our focus is on Penn State, our program, our people, our opportunities, our challenges.